Good morning. My name is Paul Church from Clarity Craft here in the UK. Welcome to another episode of Groovi Tuesday. I hope everybody's well. I can see we've got some friends in the room already. Clive, good morning. Mo, good morning. Yeah, everyone's fine and dandy. Oh, all of a sudden, everybody's come flying in. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Pull up a chair, make yourself comfortable. We're going to get groovy for the next hour as scheduled. And then this afternoon, we've got another Clarity Social TV show for you, Barb and myself, with Linda Williams' brand new 3D angel plate. We'll have a look at that during the course of this hour as well. The lovely Sue is in the room with you this morning. So if you've got any questions, she's there to help. And also I can see we've got some of our lovely design team in the room as well. So hopefully you can hear me. Sue said all good. Thank you, Sue. Perfect. Right. So yeah, 54 friends in the room already, and we're just at 10 o'clock on the dot. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Groovy Tuesday indeed, Mr. Ken. So it's lovely to have everybody's company. Hands up who was at the Clarity Open Days or the Clarity Workshop on Sunday in Ditton. I know many of the names I'm seeing popping up were there, and it was lovely to put faces to names for some of our newer friends. Lovely Glynis there we go. Helen Stevens, Sue was there. She hasn't put her hand up yet though. Sue Carpenter, Jean, good morning. We're going to have a nice, relaxed, chilled hour. Debbie Higgs, sorry forgot it's morning there. 8 p.m. here. Whereabouts are you, Debbie? How many hours? I'm rubbish at hours. So we've got people on Facebook. We've got people on YouTube. It's lovely, isn't it? Having all the different ways in which you can tune in. And for many of us, the easiest way that we can do that is going to the Clarity Crafts website, because it'll be broadcasting on the front as well. But some of us have smart TVs, we can watch YouTube on there. And I know some of our friends also multitask and have it one place over there and the other place over there for chatting. So yeah, it's lovely, isn't it? Okay, so we're on part 2 of Linda's Snowflake Owl, one of my favourite festive designs. So this is the Groovy plate, traced out exactly as it comes. Debbie's in Brisbane in Australia. Well, good evening to you then, if it's 8 p.m. in the evening. See, cold morning from Germany. So this is the plate we've been working for, and we're using just that lovely snowflake owl to go inside the frame that we created with Josie's grids. Now, I sort of had a bit of a tidy up earlier. Where's my grid gone? Oh, there it is. So previously, we had been working with Josie's grid, and we needed something just to go in the center of that frame. Okay, and I thought I took my inspiration from a piece of artwork designed by the lovely Carol Baker, using Josie's circular grids and Linda's snowflake owl in the middle. And I thought this would be great to have a look at and do some white work. We can add some color. And what we're doing is we're heading towards a piece created by Linda Williams herself. Okay, look at those feathers. So that's where we're heading today. We made a start last week with the owl, tracing out the number 1, number 2, 3, and 4 tools. And now we're going to focus using the shader tools to add the white work to the feathers. And I don't know if I give this a little, I don't know if it will pick it up. Can you see we've got some lovely Pergamano Perga glitter on there as well? Okay, so if you've missed a couple of the episodes, you can go back and watch via our YouTube page. All of them are all recorded. You can watch any time of the night and day, or if you miss it. I know some of our friends at the open day said that they've just recently found us and they're going back and they're watching previous episodes. And it's the same with the shack as well. So we spent a number of weeks with Josie's circular grids. And what I love about this, if you're new, and I know the lovely Leslie, who was at the open days, we decided that this would be a good place for her to start with her grid work, because it's all combined on one plate. See how I give that a little movement? So this element here is embossed like a traditional Groovi plate. And then this area here has been precision drilled, so the holes go all the way through. Okay, now there's 4 different designs in the newer version of the circular grids. Each of them come with a picture of what it looks like when it's completed, together with cutting guides from Josie and some instructions. Okay, and as I say, maybe you get this home, maybe you bought it at the open days. You think, right, where do I get started? Go back and you can watch how to recreate one of these. This is what it looks like when it's all done. And what I love is that even if you're not at that pico cutting stage yet, then you don't have to, because as we found when we was working on this, when I was working on piece, that it looks lovely even without any pico cutting at all. So Lynn says her granddaughter wants to make an owl Christmas card for her brown owl at brownies. Perfect, isn't it? Then we move on to the next one. So this one is strength. A picture of what it looks like. And then different cutting guide there. Okay. Then the third one in the collection is courage. Same principle, the embossed parts and then the perforated parts. Another finished picture, and then what it looks like for your cutting out guide as well. And there we have the finished piece. And the final one in the collection is joy. And we could definitely do with some joy today, couldn't we? So we've got this one here, the finished image, then cutting guide from Josie, and then finally the finished piece of artwork. Okay, so for today's session, we'll have a look at the owl plate, and I'll talk us through what we did to get to the stages we're at. And then I'm going to be using the shader tools to do that white work. Since we got them back into stock and reintroduced the 0.8, for me personally, it's really made a big difference when it comes to doing white work, especially that soft sort of feathery look, or the effect of where you do the shadow embossing that Linda's shown us in the past. So yeah, let's have a look at some artwork of the owl first. So as I say, this is the piece of artwork I'm taking my inspiration from Carol Baker. And if you'd like to go for that owl plate, then the item number for that is 41571. This is a piece of artwork from Linda Williams herself. Lovely frame, done on different layers. Then we've got some artwork from Jilly using some other Groovi plates. A little bit of sort of sitting on the branch with the trees in the background. Then we have another one from Jilly. Designer papers in the background there. This one is from Sheila Gray. I love that offset look, and then bringing in the colours to complement with the coloured parchment. Then another one from Sheila using different colours, a little bit of white work on the tips of those feathers. And then finally, another one from Jilly with love. Aren't they gorgeous? Okay, so as I say, the plate, if maybe you're just only tuning in for the first time, then the item number that, all you need to do, what I thought before we get started, many of our friends we found at the open day, didn't know how to navigate their way around the website, how they can go back and watch previous different episodes of Clarity TV. So I thought I'd very briefly, just at the beginning, I've got my iPad with me, and I thought we'd just have a quick run through. Maybe many of our friends that are always on our website may not know how to do different bits and pieces. So it says, all right, let's just fire up the laptop. Hang on, open. Right. I'm going to go this way, and we'll have a look on the overhead. So I'll zoom in a little bit. Okay. Going to do me groovy yoga now. Hang on, which way am I going to go? I'm going to go this way, I reckon. There we go. So when you go to the Clarity Crafts website, you can see there, this is your front page, and you can scroll down, and there's lots of different content on there for you to have a look at. Okay. So when we go back up to the top, if you're looking for our Clarity TV shows, and we have another one of those this afternoon at 2 o'clock, you click on the Clarity TV button, just like so. These were the products that were showcased yesterday, designed by the lovely Tina Morris, and lovely. And they were at the open days. They were at the make and take at the distant open days. Stamp and mask set with the stencil. And what you need to do, if you go here, click here, a little bit of a sneaky peek of what's coming up at 2 o'clock. So you can watch back the 2 o'clock show yesterday with Barb and myself, but then you can press download like so. And what that does is it gives you a picture of what Barb created yesterday, together with a list of ingredients on what was used. And because they're blue, if you click one of them, so if I go for Tina Morris's Season's Greetings flower stamp set with the bauble, I've got my item number there, but oh, did that one. There we go. And it takes you straight there. Right, okay. So we're looking for Linda's owl. Okay, so if I bring in that, so the item code for that owl, if I go to the search bar, we're going to go to numbers 41571, and we go enter. There is Linda's Christmas snowflake owl. We can click on there, and then we can add it to our basket. Okay. You can also give the office a call, and you can call Sue on 01732 868 215. So that's just a couple of things if maybe you're not sure about ordering online. Okay. Then we have our calendar, so you can click on the Clarity calendar to see what's happening over the coming months. So you can see here, we've got Clarity TV shows, like so. And then finally, one of the really key things, sorry about that, is the Clarity newsletter. Click here, sign up to our newsletter, and then you'll be kept informed of everything that's coming up here at Clarity headquarters. Okay, so for example, we send out details when we're doing Clarity TV, we're doing Groovi Tuesday, the Shack. And once you've signed up, that's it. You don't need to worry about it. Just check your inbox on a regular basis. And there you are. Oh, there we go. You're good to go. Right. Okay. Should we get groovy? Let's have a look. So where did we get to last week? Let me bring in, may need to zoom out a little bit now. No, that's fine. So I've got my plate mate from the starter kit, which holds Linda's snowflake owl. And I've used our Pico circle dies to cut out the circle to fit within my frame I've created. And if I just lift this off, okay, like so, let's take it off of there. and I need a black piece of card. So let me grab this and I'll bring this up to the camera. So we're looking at the back of the artwork. So last week, what we did, we traced out the majority part of the owl with the number 1 tool, but the feathers and the feet, I think I did it with the number 3 or the number 4. I can't remember now. Last week was a long time ago. But what I wanted was that soft line art. Okay, definitely need my glasses for this. Oh, right, okay. Yeah, I reckon that was the number 4. And it's very, very soft and subtle. Okay, because what we're trying to achieve is the look that Linda has created from this piece of artwork. So if we have a look at the feathers here, there's no solid outline, is there? It's as if the feathers are all soft and fluffy, just like you would expect on an owl. Okay. So in order to achieve that, what we did was we traced out using the various different tools that come within the starter kit. So the number 1 gives us this bright white line. Thank you, Karen. Karen said I did number 4. I'm glad somebody's got a good memory. So we traced out with the number 1 there, number 2, number 3, and number 4. So if I bring that up, we can have a look at that, can't we? So because the size of the ball increases on the same as the number on the double-ended tool, number 4 has the biggest ball on the end, so therefore it doesn't push into the groove as much. Okay, so what it does is it gives us a very faint, soft outline of the design. Okay, so now that we've got our little owl, if I turn him over, let's pop this to one side now. So here we have a little snowflake owl. And what we're going to do, we're going to do the white work and we're going to build it up very gently. Now, we have options when it comes to doing white work. If you're starting out, then you can use your Groovi wooden tools, number 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you could start with the larger, number 4, which is the largest first, and then work your way down. How much is that Groovi in the window? Oh, Ken. I tell you what, Ken, I'm sure he could write books with all his lovely ditties that he could definitely publish a book with all his lovely ditties that he comes up with in his poems. And for those of you that were at the open days, you would have heard Ken reciting one of his recent poems that he put on Clarity and Groovi Worldwide. So I'm sure if you go to the Clarity Crafts Facebook page, I think you can go back and look at the Facebook Lives that Grace did, and you'll be able to hear Ken reading out his little story. Okay, so we've got 2 options. Well, we've got several options, really. We can use tools that come within the starter kit. We can use the Pergamano ball tools. We do like a 6 mil, a 4.5, a 3, etc., etc. And then in order to do that, we need to use a soft mat. So if you already have the starter kit, then you'll have the A4 black mat, which is hard on one side for when we're tracing out and colouring, and then it's soft and squidgy on the back. Okay. Now, for me personally, I've adapted now. I feel more confident using the black mat, but when I first started, I was sort of heavy-handed and I was worried about going through the parchment. So there's a trick. A poly bag that your Groovi plates come in. If you pop that on top, what it does, it acts as a resist. So it allows you to put a little bit more pressure on if you want to. Okay. But my best friend when it comes to parching and doing white work is my Pergamano pink mat. Okay. Now, if you're interested in the pink mat, the item code for that is 70075. Okay. And for me, whether you're heavy-handed, whether you're light-handed, really does make a difference. And because it gives me the confidence when I'm doing my white work, I enjoy it more. Okay, so the other thing I'm going to be using are the shader tools, as I mentioned earlier. So we've got the, tools running all over the place. We've got the shader tools. Let's put them in order of size. So we've got the new back in stock since a very, very long time. It's the 0.8 mil. Then we have the 1, and then we have the 1.2. Now, if budget only allows and you can only afford 1, then for me personally, I would then go for the 1 in the middle. Okay, and the 1 mil, the item number is 70002. If you want the smaller one, 70456, and if you want the larger one, 70003. However, we have got a collection, we can get all 3 of them, which is item number 70457. I'm going to go with these. I'm going to go with my pink mat. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring that into, bring that into play. And I'm going to zoom in closer. Okay. It's using milliliters rather than millimeters. There's no fluid on the shade tools. There we go. So here's our little snowy owl. Right. Okay. I'm going to use my Groovi guard so I can focus on the area that I'm going to be working on. And I'm going to start with the largest one first. Okay. If you've only got the medium one, then what I'm about to do is exactly the same. So when we look at the tool, it's like a paper clip. Okay. Do you hold it as we call the spoon position, or do you hold it in the fork position? Do you bring it towards you? Do you work away from you? Okay. For me, it's like that when you're doing white work. Some areas I will work away with it, and some ways I'll come towards me. Who's got the shader tools? What way do you do it? Do you go spoon position, fork position, away from you, or towards you? Towards you, and then I did it away. Come on, let's see what everyone does. Right, okay. I think we're going to get going now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be working from the tip of the feathers towards the top of the owl. And because I work towards me, I'm going to turn the owl upside down. Okay, so Jane does it in the away direction. Jill uses the spoon. Helen uses the spoon towards her. Spoon towards, I think it's so far that one's in the lead. Now, I can get into this small one, but I'm going to leave the smaller feathers for the smaller tool. Okay, so if I start off with the larger one first, and all I'm doing now is very gently stroking the parchment, and I'm moving along nice and easy. Okay, you can just about see the whiteness. So what I'm going to do first is put like an undercoat down. So I'm going to take each feather individually, and I'm starting at the tip of the feather and just coming towards me very, very lightly. So I'm working my way around the edge of the feather, like so. Now this one here, the feather onto there, I'm going to leave that one for the next size down. I'm going to go for this one here. That one I'm going to leave as well. Then that one, I'm going to go for that one. That one, let's come over a little bit here. So what we're doing first, I'm going to concentrate on one side first. And what we'll do is we'll then compare it to the other side. So I'm going to swap now to the medium size. Now I'm going to, medium size. So now I'm going to go into those smaller feathers, like so. And all of a sudden you'll see that the feathers start to get that delicate feathery touch to them. Yeah, you can see that. Okay. And then these little feathers, I'm going to go for the new 0.8. Like so. There we go. And I reckon a little bit just on that one. Okay. So if I turn this over now, we can see how we're starting to add some white work. Okay, I reckon I need a little bit more on that one. So let's turn that one back over. And I'm going to go for the largest one. There we go. Now, for this side, I'm going to use the wooden tools that come in the starter kit. So I'm going to start off with the largest ball tool and Groovi guard. There we go. Like so. I don't know if you'll notice, but what I'm having to do is taking me longer to add the white work because the tip of the ball is smaller than the tip of the shader tool. Okay, so then this one here, along there like so. So just gentle little strokes. So we're sort of caressing the parchment when we're doing this. Okay. So I can use the largest ball tool for all of the different feathers on this one here. Because I said the tip of the ball tool is smaller than the area on the shader tools. So let's have a look. So we turn it over and I've gone a little bit more heavier with the ball tool. I was applying the same type of pressure, but it gives me a different look. Okay, now if I take a piece of card and bring this up, what I want to share with you is, so on here, you can see it looks a lot smoother, doesn't it? Whereas on here, because it's more strandy. Strandy, is that a word? I think it's the new word. So it's more strand-like because I was moving too quickly between each of the strokes. But it's fine because I can go back in and sort of fill in those gaps, so to speak. Or maybe we want that look for the feathers. Okay. So now we're going to go back in. I had some stages that Linda had done previously. Let's see if I can find them. No, I've misplaced them. Too much tidying up. Okay, so now we're going to go back to this side. And I'm going to start again with the largest ball shader tool. And you'll notice that I'm not filling the complete feather. So I'm not going right up to the edge, like from there to there. Because I want to create that light and dark effect. Okay. Anyone doing this at the same time, or is everybody finished? I bet many of our friends at home have already, I know lots of you have been buying the Snowflake owl. It really is a lovely design for Christmas. And the design we've got coming up this afternoon at 2 o'clock from Linda Williams. We gave a sneaky peek yesterday during the 2 o'clock show. And for those of our friends that were at the open days, saw Linda work her magic with it. So now I'm going to go to the medium tool and go again. So this time I'm just concentrating on one side. So you can see how you've got that, it's getting whiter. Okay. I'm going to do that. We're just building up the layers of whiteness. Now, another option, if you're not sure about your white work at this point, always practice on a piece first, okay? And have a practice, get the pressure right in your hand. I know Linda often says that when she's doing white work or picot cutting, she will do a test piece first. She won't go on cold, so to speak, to her masterpiece. So I'm going to go with the smaller one now. And what it does, it gets your hand comfortable and into a routine. So we're going to go just along those edges there. Can you see how it's starting to take shape? Another option is stippling. And I know the lovely Maggie Craner loves a little bit of stippling. And yeah, I'm just sort of, I've got Maggie's voice in my head when I said that. I know exactly what she'd be saying. Wouldn't you, Maggie? Okay. So we're slowly building up. Let's turn it over. Look, see how it's starting to come together now. Nice. So let's put another layer over on this side, and this time we're using the Groovi wooden tools. So we're going to start with the number 4 tools. Oh, motorbike going past. So I'm just going to a little bit more pressure just to start bringing the level of whiteness out. Now, for me personally, you won't be able to see this on camera, but I can feel that this is dipped more compared to this, okay? And there's a couple of reasons for that. One reason is because in a way, I'm not actually letting it rest really between the layers. So the shaders are a little bit more forgiving, I find, when it comes to that. So he would make a lovely little Christmas card. So what you could do, you could spend an evening tracing out, then you could spend another evening just putting one layer of white work on. Then you could another evening and sort of just build it up, depending on how many of them you want to make. And we're just going to carry on. So let's have a look. Okay, so shader tools, wooden tools. Okay, shader, wooden. I know which one I prefer. I prefer the shader tools. I feel it looks nicer, but it's not over yet because we're just gradually building up all those different layers. So is anybody struggling with their white work? Is everybody, maybe you haven't got to that stage yet on your Groovi Boss journey. Maybe you're just tracing out at the moment. Or maybe you're thinking, oh, what am I doing wrong? Am I putting too much pressure on? Let me show you. Let me grab a piece of parchment. Okay, I'm going to grab a piece of parchment like so. And what I'm going to do is, where's the plate gone? Put it over there. Okay, right. Let's have a look. So if I take my black mat and let's see, what can we trace out? Okay, wipe it with your tumble dry sheet, like so. So let's take that. I'm just going to do that to hold it in place, like so. And I'm going to go with the number, the number 3 tool. So if I trace out the fluffy bit, like so, let's do that. We're going to move it along. I'm going to do another one. So this is a good way of practicing. Just trace out an element that you know you're going to work on your finished piece. Okay. Okay, question from Hillary. Hi, Hillary. How would you attach the owl to my card? Okay, so Hillary, are you tuning in for the first time? Have you seen any of the previous episodes? Because there's several different ways in which you can attach your parchment. One of the easiest ways is using our Pergamano brads. So they're 3mm, they're tiny, itsy bitsy little brads. Let me show you one on the overhead. See the, oops, where are we going? Here we go. So you can use brads to attach. You can use a traditional style of stitching your parchment to your card. Depending on what kind of parchment you can using, you could use our Clarity roller tape glue runners. Always test it first of a scrap piece of the same color to see whether it shows. But the one that I'm working on, I'm using the nested circle Pico dies to create my little piece of artwork to work alongside the grid frame that we created. Okay. And the idea behind these grid frames is that because I've Pico cut them like so, what's going to happen is my little owl is going to be held in place underneath like so. So then there's it, you won't see any, you won't see the attachments. Okay. So you can see there, that's now would be held in place. Another option are our fantastic corner punches, which you'll also find on the website. So they're like, they cut into a corner and it's like the old-fashioned photo corners, and so you can slip your parchment underneath. You can also use perga glue if you've done some white work in different areas. Yeah, as Jackie said, if you go back and have a look at various different Clarity YouTube Groovi Tuesdays, there's definitely, I know I've definitely covered the punches, I've definitely covered the brads. I mean, the brads really are the easiest way, and they add that little decorative element to your design, but they don't overpower it. And you can use the brads for your everyday card making as well. We have those in all different colors. We've got a pastel selection, we've got black, white, gold, silver. So yeah, so I love all this. Lots of questions coming in today. So what did Paul wipe the parchment with before starting on it? Tumble dry sheet. Okay, so tumble dry sheet, which you would put in your tumble dryer, and it's got, some of them have got scent, but it's meant to sort of like soften the fabric within the tumble dryer during that process. You could also use, back in the day, it was a candle, wasn't it? A candle was wiped over the parchment. But you can get these in all sort of, well, shops, supermarkets. Me personally, I go for the Sainsbury's own brand. I find that they work best for me. If you If you get some of the other brands, they can feel a little bit stiff because obviously they're not made for parchment, they're made for softening in your clothes. So you can always pop them in the tumble dryer just with your clothes and then take it out, and then you can use that as well, and that will then soften them. So various different options there for you. Okay, but I say attaching, the easiest way really is brads. Okay, so let's have a look. So I've done that one, that one, that one. Whee! Tools alive, and then we'll do this one here. Okay, so I've got 3 fluffy baubles like so. Okay. Oh, Debbie's ordered the starter kit and the owl. Okay, Debbie, so if you've ordered the starter kit, it comes with your tumble dry sheet as well to get you going. The whole idea behind the starter kit is that you've got everything in there. So you've got your black mat, you've got your plate mate, you've got your parchment, you've got your Groovi tabs, you've got your tumble dry sheet, you've got your plate mate, you've got designs in there, your nested squares, and then it's all downhill from there because you then want this one, you want that one, but you've already jumped on the wagon and you've gone for the owl as well. Now, talking of last week, before I forget, slurp of coffee. Last week, I found the last pack of Christmas coloured parchment. Okay, we were having a bit of a tidy up and came across this. Now, this ran out of stock a long time ago. And we used to do it in A4 and A5, and this is the A5 pack. So you've got red, black, silver, and green. And I said that if anybody placed an order from Tuesday of last week to Tuesday of today, and in the comments they either put Christmas or Paul made me did it, then I would pick a winner. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to choose somebody now. I'm not going to look to win this. Okay, and the winner is, drum roll please, Lynn Moore. There we go. So that will be winging its way to Lynn. Okay, so thank you for placing an order and joining in the fun. So we'll get that. I'm going to put that in there so it doesn't get lost. Okay, so the idea of these, I know I'm sort of jumping around everywhere, aren't I? But it's great to have the questions coming through as well, because we know that many people are sort of recently finding clarity and Groovi and stamps and stencils. So there we go. So we've got our working on the back still. Now I'm going to take the A4 black mat. So I'm on the squidgy side. Now if I take my Groovi number 4 tool and I start applying the same type of pressure that I was applying when I was using it on the pink mat, I can feel the weakness in the parchment. Okay, and I know it's going to buckle. If I take the cello bag that I mentioned earlier, pop that on top of the mat, and now go with this. Okay, I've got a little bit more resistance, and you can see it's not going as white as this one. Okay, so, and it is the same. I am definitely applying the same, but I'm not sort of cheating and going on lighter. It's definitely the same amount of pressure that I'm applying. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my pink mat. So I can still use the cello bag underneath if I want to, but I've got my confidence and I'm going on same pressure again, like so. Okay, so we're just working our way around that fluffy little ball on the end of that hat. So then when I turn it over, I'm going to bring this up close to the camera so you can see. So this one here is using the black mat on its own. This one here is using the black mat with the cello bag underneath. And this one here is using the pink mat. So you can definitely see, and the idea is that you build up that level of whiteness gradually. Back in the day when I was learning, I wanted white instantly, okay? And I really did struggle. So I was colouring it in with a white pencil. Now I know it's not cheating because Linda Williams does it, okay? But what you can do until you build up your confidence for your white work, you could do that very soft, light undercoat, and then you can go on with the white B pencils from the Pergoliners and just put some white on the back as well, and then use the Dorso oil and a blending pen to blend it in as well. And you can build up the levels of whiteness using that as well. Okay, so there are options. Don't think, oh, I'm never going to be able to do white. I was like that. Seriously, I thought I'm never ever going to be able to do white work because I was impatient. But you have to readapt this. Okay, so you have to think again, and you think, right, well, I want it to look stunning, so I need to slow the process down and enjoy it, because all I was doing, I was getting myself all worked up and thinking, what's the point of doing it? I'm not enjoying it. So you just sort of readjust your mindset and say, right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to have several pieces on the go, and we'll just allow them to rest, preferably overnight, and then your confidence will come to you. It really will. And speaking to many of our friends at the open day, that's what they've been doing. They've got several pieces on the go at once, and they start off in small areas, and then their confidence grows, and then they start to work on larger areas. Okay, and this afternoon we're going to be looking at the latest release from Linda Williams that we showed you yesterday during the 2 o'clock show. And let's have a little look at what we're going to be showcasing this afternoon. So this is Linda Williams' 3D angel plate, okay? And we're going to put it through its paces this afternoon. This is the artwork from the design team, from Linda and the design team. And if you want to jump ahead, then the item number for that is 42390. Now, many of our friends at home bought it at the open days, but also bought it yesterday together with Tina's stamps. But not only can you make 3D card or 3D angels or fairies, the way in which Linda's designed it, but you can also make cards as well. So let me just I'm going to grab 2 pieces of artwork to share with you. So let's have a look. So this is a piece created by Francis Knott. And this piece here is from Hazel Edwards. Okay, so you can make 3D cards, 3D angels or fairies. You can create flat cards as well. That's the versatility of the designs. And we're going to be looking at those, Barbara and myself, at 2 o'clock today. We're going to be having a look at the construction of them. They come with instructions, but we'll go through all of that at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Yeah, 2 o'clock this afternoon. I'm going to put these back here so I don't lose them, and we'll share lots more artwork with you. There's loads sitting on behind me, so really looking forward to that. Okay, let's go back to our lovely snowflake owl. It's had a little bit of a rest from the layers of white work, so let's have a look. So the Groovi Guard to protect the area. I'm going to go back with the shader tools on this one again. And this time I'm just going to stick with the medium size one. Okay. Jackie says she needs a fairy for her tree. Well, there you go, Jackie. These are perfect to sit on top of your tree. They really, really are. So I'm going to, with the medium one now, we're going to intensify the white work on the feathers. And you'll notice that I'm not going all the way up to the next feather. I'm leaving a bit of a gap so that it gives that light and shade look to it. Okay. So then we're going to go that one there. And as I say, you could go in the fork position, or sometimes I'll go from the side as well, depending on the area I'm trying to get into. Okay. But look, see how easily that came together just there. And we're on this one down here, going over here. So I'm just working my way around, applying another layer of white work with the shader tools. Because I've been using the pink mat for a while now, well, since we owned Pergamano, I mean, I didn't even know that a pink mat existed until we bought Pergamano. And it's been a real game changer for me. It really, really has. So now I'm going to over to this side now. So I'm going to use the ball tools over here. Now, this time I'm going to go to the number 3 tool. So I'm going down a size. And then, see, I can feel it. It's a really, really strange feeling. Maybe many of our friends at home have experienced the same type of feeling when you're using a ball tool as opposed to using the shader. I've got a different, it's really, really strange. It's hard to describe. I don't know, that the shader tools, they've got a larger surface area that they're covering. I can't think how to explain it, but I'm sure if you've got the shader tools and you've got the ball tools, when you're working with both of them at the same time, maybe you just stick to one, maybe you don't do what I'm doing here, but you can really feel a difference when you're trying to create that white work. Has anybody else found that, or is it just me? I bet it's just me. Okay. It's really, I've got the giggles now, I've got to stop. It's hard to describe. It really, really is. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. One slides and the other doesn't. Yeah, I suppose that's a good way of describing it, Jackie. One does slide. Yeah, the shader tools slide. And the ball tools ball. Okay, so Glynis is saying the shader tools equals white work safety net. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. The Groovi plate, for me, is my parchment safety net because I know I'll never go wrong. And that's a nice way of looking at it. The shader tools are white work safety nets. Yeah. I like that, Glynis. Thank you. So Richard's saying that the shader's a definite game changer. Yeah. Talking about Christmas trees and Pergamano trees. And I don't know if you noticed when I showed off the artwork for Linda's Angels, did you notice that there was 2 different sizes on there? Let me just bring in one of the itsy bitsy little ones as a comparison. Let me just, whee, they're flying across the room. So this is the large one, so to speak. And then this is the itsy bitsy one. Look. Oh, look at that. So if maybe you've got different size Christmas trees in the house. Maybe you've got your main one in the living room, and then people often have a smaller one in the kitchen or in a hallway entrance, like a porch or a conservatory. So Linda's given us both large and small. So these are going to fly back over to the display. Bear with me for a moment. There we go. That one goes back on there. And that one goes back on there. And you can see that, I mean, I haven't put them under there just yet. I was sort of having a play with the display. But at the open days, Linda had the battery operated tea lights underneath. And because you've got that translucency of the parchment, it illuminates. Imagine having a row of these on a mantelpiece or a shelf with the battery operated candles underneath. And you've got 2 different types of wings as well. But you've also got this one that doesn't have any wings at all. It's just like an Edwardian elegant lady. So, chair. Right, okay, let's have a look. Let's go back to our lovely owl. So if we turn that over now, we can see how it's starting to come together. And you think, oh, I've missed a bit. Don't matter, you can still go back up and go back up. You can still go back and increase the level of whiteness. Okay, so then when we have a look at this piece that Linda's created, let's have a bit of a, I mean, there isn't any comparison at this point from what Linda's done. This still needs a lot more sort of levels of whiteness in these areas here, doesn't it? And at the tips of those feathers to really bring it out. So if you're worried at getting the whiteness on the tips, this is where the trick of the white pencil could come into play. You could use the white pencil on the back to intensify the whiteness in those areas. And this, I reckon, has definitely got some stippling in it. I know there's an angel, there's some stippling on some of the angels. So, yeah. Okay, let's carry on with our little, I do love this owl. This owl, if you're interested in this owl, because I know many of you have been adding it to your shopping baskets. I'm going to go down to the smallest one. So this is the new one, the 0.8. So if you want to get this one on its own, then the item number for that is 70456. Okay, so now with the smaller one, that was my stomach. I'm going in and just, can you see that? Yeah. Okay, so we're just putting that, and I'm trying to keep to the tips of the feathers. Okay. Just like so. And as you get used to it, then you'll feel the parchment change. You really will. You'll feel that it becomes a little bit more softer and flexible. But it's also knowing when to stop as well. So I can see this one here, this just needs a little bit. So I'm just going on very lightly, just there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back to the larger one and just add a little bit. Can you see that? I don't know why I'm whispering. I really don't know why I'm whispering, but what I'm doing very lightly. What? Weird. Really weird. I don't need to whisper. Why do I need to whisper amongst friends? I really love this little owl. And if you want the owl, Linda's Snowflake owl, the item number for that is 41571. Now, the other thing is that you can combine using the shader tools with the wooden tools as well. Okay, there's no rule. Well, I say there's no rule. What are rules? I don't know any different. Okay. Excuse me. I would use the shader tools and the ball tools together. Don't see why you can't. So maybe you want to put your sort of undercoat layer down, depending on what you're working on, with the shader tools, because that has that larger, larger surface area. And then if you want to get into real close with some white work, then the ball tools will sit on top of those. So play, experiment. Is it right? Is it wrong? I don't know. If you don't try it, you don't know, do you? But I've always said it, sort of, for me, I would always test on a scrap piece. If I'm trying something new for the first time, I would always test it first on a scrap piece of parchment. Because the last thing you want to do is create your masterpiece, try something new, and it goes wrong. So what we're going to do next week when we come back, we're going to continue on using the shader tools with this lovely little snowy owl. A week is definitely enough time for it to rest it, and leaving it a week, you will definitely see when we come back next Tuesday, the difference on that white work. Okay. So thank you for joining me. Now, don't forget, we're back at 2 o'clock for Clarity Social TV. Barbara and myself putting that lovely angel plate through its paces and showcasing the amazing artwork from the design team. I know Linda's in the room at the moment, so I'm sure Linda will be back at 2 o'clock as well. And if there's any questions, feel free to message on there. I'm sure Linda will be there to answer any questions that maybe I don't know the answer to. But lovely to have your company. Thank you to Sue and the design team, as always, and your company. And hopefully I'll see you back, Clarity Social TV, 2 o'clock today with Barbara and myself. Enjoy the rest of your morning and take care.